Well, scientists in the Amazon rainforest may have found the world's biggest snake.
It can grow as big as 24 feet long and weigh around 1,100 pounds.
Hello everyone, my name is Woody, and today we are going to be taking a look at 10 dark secrets hidden within the Amazon rainforest. From werewolves to remnants of a lost civilization, let's get into it. 10. City of Giants. We often talk about aliens being responsible for building great monuments like the pyramids, but did we ever consider it might be giants? In 2012, something was discovered deep in the Amazon that might suggest just that. A group of researchers, paired with a team of local guides, discovered what appears to be the remains of a large city close to the Ecuador side of the forest. At the center of the city was a large stone pyramid, 80 meters tall, with a flat area on top which held many artifacts. Scattered around the area were many things like old pottery and, most curiously, massive stone tools. They appeared to be much too large and heavy for any average-sized human to ever have been able to use. The government of Ecuador ruled that the formations were just naturally occurring, but the researchers heavily dispute this, saying that due to the rectangle-shaped bricks, cement-like bonding material, and perfectly circular holes, it can't possibly have been caused by nature. Instead, they, and others, believe that this was a city built by giants long ago. What you believe is up to you. Number 9. The Mapinguari monster. There are many different tribes scattered throughout the Amazon, some without contact to each other, and some without contact to even the outside world. Yet one thing that they all have in common are their stories of a large 7-foot-tall rainforest beast, similar to many cultures' depictions of Bigfoot. The creature is described to be bulletproof and having long hair. It apparently also has a smell that is so strong it makes hunters dizzy. These stories are so widespread and similar that many researchers have gone out in search of the monster, with no luck so far. Some scientists say that this is likely just a legend passed down for centuries, dating back to when giant land sloths roamed the forests, but local people believe it to be a spirit that will kill those who hunt more than their fair share. Number 8. The Boiling River. Hidden deep in the Amazon forest is a hidden river with unexpected and potentially magical properties. Children are told the legends of the Boiling River, about a giant snake spirit that heats it up. Andre Russo went in search of the river after having been raised on the legends by his grandfather, wanting to know if the stories of a boiling river could possibly be true. He took a long journey to reach the supposed location of the river, having to ask permission from a shaman who guarded the waters in order to gain access and study it. Russo discovered that the average temperature of the river was a whopping 187 degrees Fahrenheit, with steam pouring out from the top. It's speculated that the river boils due to faults deep in the earth, but locals believe that it's a magical river with healing properties and use it in their medicinal practices. When Russo was there, he noticed the scariest part of the river, that it kills just about anything that falls into it, dead frogs and other animals floating around where he stood on the edge. Number 7. The potoo bird. Throughout the Amazon rainforest lives a bird known as the common potoo bird. If it's so common, then what makes it so scary? I mean, besides its face. First, let's mention these birds' tendency to always be found in pairs of two, a male and a female. Because of this, legend goes that there were two children, a boy and a girl, living with their father and stepmother. The stepmother was evil and greedy, wanting to gain all of her husband's inheritance, so she convinced the man to abandon his children within the forest to die. He succeeds, leaving them lost in the forest with no hope for them to find their way out. However, the mother spirit of the forest took pity on them and adopted the two as her own children, making them into birds. Stories go that the call of the potoo bird sounds like children calling out in anguish, desperate to escape the forest and return to their family. If you think this legend sounds a lot like Hansel and Gretel, you'd be right. This one just contains a lot less candy and witches. Number 6. Dangerous animals. Well, we've somehow made it this far without mentioning the many scary and terrifying creatures hiding within the depths of the forest. Life in the forest has evolved these creatures to have many unique and frightening abilities in order to survive. Let's start with perhaps one of their most famous, piranhas. Piranhas live in the Amazon River basin and are known for their incredibly strong and razor-sharp bites, even being known to have eaten human flesh. Next, poison dart frogs. While beautiful to look at, as their name suggests, they secrete a poison that can cause heart failure in just a few minutes. Arachnophobes look away, as I'm going to tell you about the Brazilian wandering spider. It is one of the most venomous spiders on the planet, and 8 different species of them wander the forest at night in search of food. So you may want to double check your sleeping bag before you get in, as their venom can lead to trouble breathing and paralysis. Finally, a very famous name in the rainforest, the green anaconda, or man-eater. These snakes can grow incredibly large and kill their prey by suffocating them within a tight coiled hold.
In early 2024, a team of scientists working with the Waorani people in Ecuador came across what looked like a typical green anaconda until they ran the DNA. Turns out it wasn't the same species at all. It's now been named the northern green anaconda, and genetically it's about 5.5% different from the one we already knew about. That might not sound like much, but in evolutionary terms, that's a 10 million year separation. I was surprised by that too. This thing is huge. The team spotted one female that was over 20 feet long, and some locals claim they've seen them closer to 25 feet, weighing more than a half ton. It lives in remote rivers stretching from Ecuador to Venezuela and has pretty much gone unnoticed by science until now. They mostly feed on big prey, and by big prey I mean like deer and caimans, which are basically like a type of alligator. So yeah, these things are massive. The green anaconda stays underwater for long stretches. They're definitely not easy to spot, and unfortunately their territory overlaps with areas being torn up by oil drilling and illegal logging. The same researchers who found the snake also pointed out high levels of pollution in the water from petroleum waste, which could be slowly poisoning these animals. So yeah, the biggest snake ever found might already be at risk of extinction, and we only just learned it existed. Meanwhile, all you snake haters are clapping and cheering. I know you're out there. It's okay. I see you. This species was only officially described this year. It was found in the Brazilian Amazon jungle near the Jirua River. It's tiny, barely the size of your thumb, and unlike the last entry on this list, these creatures stand out because of their vibrant colors. Deep coppery limbs, a reddish-brown body, and thin blue stripes running down their backs. Scientists named it Renitomea etherea, which roughly means heavenly in Latin. Researchers said that discovering it in such an untouched, remote area felt surreal, which completely makes sense. I mean, on one hand, it makes sense to find a new animal in a place where barely any human being has set foot, but I just mean it must have felt like they were stepping into another world. This new species belongs to the poison dart frog family, and like the others, it's toxic to the touch. That toxin comes from the things it eats, usually ants and mites. It's how these frogs protect themselves. This one in particular was only found in one small area, which makes it vulnerable right out of the gate. If anything changes in that spot, deforestation, drought, pollution, there is a good chance the whole species could disappear before we even get a chance to learn more about it. Also interesting, scientists noticed its call was different from nearby species, which could mean its mating habits or territorial behavior are totally unique too. So this thing looks like a giant worm, right? Want to know something really crazy though? It's not. It's actually an amphibian, a legless amphibian, a newly discovered species called the truncated caecilian. It was found in Ecuador in 2024. Technically, it sat in a museum for years before anyone realized what it was. After researchers dug back into the area it came from, they confirmed it was actually something totally new. This thing grows about 19 inches long, they have pale gray bodies, and their heads are kind of flattened out, hence the truncated part of the name. Let's talk about the teeth. What teeth, you may be asking? Allow me to explain, or shut off the video, I don't care. So these things actually have these curved back, needle-like teeth. It uses them to grab stuff and eat stuff like earthworms underground. These guys spend nearly their whole lives buried in the soil, which is why they're rarely seen and barely studied. There's still a ton we don't know about them. How do they reproduce? What's its full range? How many even exist? I don't know, if you're coming to me for answers, maybe rethink your life. While exploring Peru's Alto Mayo region in 2024, scientists found a weird little rodent that lives part of its life in water. Yes, that is right folks, we have a mouse that swims. It goes against everything I have ever learned about mice growing up, and believe me, I learned a lot. It hasn't been officially named yet, but it's believed to belong to the genus Daptomus, a group of semi-aquatic rodents. These critters have partially webbed feet, a waterproof looking coat, and a diet that probably includes aquatic insects. They only spotted it in one small swampy patch of forest, so they are pretty rare. What's especially odd though is that the area it was found in isn't untouched jungle. People live and work nearby, so these weirdos, these freaks of nature, have been hiding out in plain sight all this time while we've been watching? I don't know. What are people watching now? Anyways, it says something about how little we actually notice the creatures around us. No one knows yet if this is a totally new species or just a rarely seen one, but either way it's a pretty wild find. It also shows how even well-trodden parts of the Amazon are still weird as hell.
It was located after scientists were alerted of a large gathering of scavenger birds spotted in the jungle. There are a couple theories as to how or why the whale ended up where it did, none of which really do it for me, but I'll share them with you so you don't feel left out. The first theory is that the 10-ton whale was thrown out of the water and into the woods by rough seas after floating too close to the shores of Arona Beach, which is strange because whales are not usually found along the north coast of Brazil during February when the specimen was found. Not only that, but you're really telling me rough tides threw a 10-ton whale 50 feet into the jungle? Yeah, I'm just not buying it. Another theory is that some kind of mysterious alien force dropped the poor guy there, which honestly might actually make more sense at this point. But as always, when I can't figure something out, I'd love to know what you guys think. Next on the list, we have the boiling river of the Amazon, the perfect spa date location for someone you really don't like. The river's name is Schneider, and it is said to be the home of an ancient Amazonian water spirit. Located in the heart of the central Peruvian Amazon, the river flows at a temperature of up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 93 degrees Celsius, for just shy of 4 miles. The waters range from quite shallow all the way to 16 feet deep, and the widest point of the lake is 80 feet across. The river's heat comes from thermal vents, and while hot springs are not unheard of in this world, the magnitude of Chennai makes it a record-breaking find. Something else has also set this river apart from others found in the past. Generally, thermal rivers are heated by volcanic activity underneath the earth below the waterways, but that is not the case for this hot giant, which is heated solely by the earth's geothermal energy that escapes through cracks in the floor of the riverbeds, warming up the waters. Good for swimming? Absolutely not, but you could always make a cup of tea. Next on the list, we have the Goliath bird eater, and heads up, it's a spider, and yes, it does eat birds. The Goliath is a massive tarantula. Its body measures in at about 5 inches, and it has a leg span of up to 11, which makes this thing certified nightmare fuel. The animal is obviously a carnivore, consuming not only birds, but mice, lizards, and frogs as well. It hunts by pouncing on its prey and then piercing it with inch-long fangs, which act as hypodermic needles, pumping neurotoxins into the bodies of its victims. The spider then drags its dinner back to its burrow, where it liquefies the animal's insides before sucking it dry. So now that we know how it catches its own prey, let's discuss how it avoids becoming someone else's. The Goliath has pretty bad eyesight, but it does have highly sensitive leg hairs that can sense vibrations from all around. When the spider notices a predator is getting too close, it will rub its legs together, releasing the tiny harpoon-like hairs, which are tipped with stinging barbs, into the air, irritating predators' skin and eyes, strongly encouraging them to find a different meal. Also, they can lay between 50 and 150 eggs at a time, which is just awesome. Next on our list, we have the vampire wasp, a large-headed parasitic animal that grows to be just 0.2 shy of an inch, discovered in the Peruvian jungles of the Amazon. 2 things you should know about this animal. 1, the vampire wasp feeds by stinging its prey and then sucking out the blood and other internally bodily fluids of its victim. And 2, the females lay eggs by locating a suitable insect host, stabbing it with their ovipositor, which is basically a tube-like egg-laying organ, and then laying eggs under the host's skin. When the eggs hatch, the juvenile wasps remain under the skin of their host, feeding on its insides until they become fully grown. I love you guys, but I hated learning that. Next up, at our halfway point, we have an animal absolutely no less terrifying than the rest, going by the name of T-Rex leech. And it was discovered, drumroll please, inside someone's nose. Also known as the tyrant leech king, this animal can grow to be just under 2 inches. Of course, as a leech, it survives by sucking the blood from its prey. The way it does this is by using its 8.13mm teeth situated around its circular jaw to bite down on its prey, and then moving around in a sawing motion to open up the wound. Already, I apologize, but in the name of entertainment and at the expense of me sleeping tonight, I'm gonna keep going. Besides the T-Rex leech's abnormally large teeth and body, there is one other thing that makes it just a bit different than others in the leech family. Instead of attacking exposed surface skin, this guy likes to get a little more intimate, aiming for the orifices of its host bodies, such as, well, noses and mouths. Usually the noses and mouths of livestock, but judging by the nature in which it was discovered, I'd say they're really not that picky.
In 2024, scientists working in Bolivia's upper Mapinguari River confirmed that they'd found a new species of piranha. Thank God, we all wanted a new one. This new species is definitely sharp-toothed like the others, but there are a few things about it that set it apart. It's got a dark crescent-shaped spot on the base of its tail and a deep red anal fin edged in black. Don't ask me what an anal fin is, this is just what I read online from far more qualified people than myself. Sue me. They discovered this new species after catching a few in a lesser studied part of the river, and at a first glance it looked familiar, but the details didn't line up with any of the known species. Back in the lab, genetic tests confirmed that it hadn't been identified before. Researchers say it's part of a group known for aggressive feeding, but we still don't know much about this specific one, like how big they can get or how they can hunt. The point is, even a fish as infamous as the piranha can still surprise you with new branches on the family tree. Maybe don't go skinny dipping in the upper Mapinguari anytime soon. This one's for the spider people, all 12 of you around the world. In 2024, researchers in Ecuador found a brand new species of giant crab spider. It's part of the huntsman spider family, which are already known for being fast and too big. This one can stretch out around 5 inches with long orange legs tipped in brown, and I feel itchy just talking about it. What's interesting is how it hunts. Unlike web spiders, these guys don't sit and wait. They're stalkers. They move through the jungle a few feet off the ground, creeping silently, looking for prey. That kind of hunting style isn't typical for other spiders in its group, which is what tipped researchers off that this one might be something new. It's the first time a spider from this genus has been found in Ecuador, but others like it have shown up in parts of Central and South America. These guys were named after an Ecuadorian biologist who helped train the team that discovered it, which is a nice touch. My heart is warmed and grossed out because of the spiders. In 2023, scientists discovered a new species of parasitic wasp in the Peruvian Amazon. This wasp has a particularly large head. It's also parasitic, laying eggs inside other insects. Parasitic wasps like this sound disgusting, but they actually play a big role in controlling insect populations. They act as natural pest regulators, and the fact that they're around means there's a healthy ecosystem balance. This one's for anyone who thinks all snakes are huge and scary. In 2022, researchers in Ecuador's Amazon found a snake that barely hit 8 inches long. It is a new species of dwarf boa. It kind of looks like a baby version of a regular boa constrictor. Same coiled body, same rough pattern, but just mini. Don't let the size fool you, however. This thing is still a predator. It eats tiny frogs and lizards and probably anything else small and unlucky enough to cross its path. They found it in 2 places, which both make sense because they are both high biodiversity areas that don't get a lot of foot traffic. What is extra weird is that it's part of a group that is mostly found in the Caribbean, so what the hell is it doing in South America? That's still up for debate, but either way it shows just how little we actually know about what's crawling around out there. This tiny monkey was hiding in plain sight for years. Scientists only realized in 2021 that it is a completely separate species from the marmosets we already knew about. It is called Schneider's marmoset, and it actually lives in a small patch of rainforest in Brazil. You'd think a monkey with bright orange hands and feet, a silver chest, and a black tail would stand out, but apparently not. Just blended in with its cousins until somebody finally took a closer look at the DNA and skull shape. Turns out this thing's been mislabeled the whole time. It's only about 9 inches tall, not counting the tail, and it's got that wide-eyed, I know something you don't monkey face. But here's the problem. It lives right in the middle of what they call the arc of deforestation. Basically, that's the edge of the Amazon where trees are getting wiped out left and right for cattle, soy, and other development. So yeah, we just figured out this little guy's been here all along, and now it's already in trouble. The more forest gets cleared, the smaller their home gets. So we've got a monkey we didn't know existed with a super limited range living in one of the most threatened parts of the rainforest. That's not a great combo, but hey, at least now we know it's there. Better late than never, I guess? This frog was found in early 2024, but to get to it, scientists had to hike through steep, foggy mountains near the Brazil-Venezuela border. That part of the Amazon is so remote, you pretty much have to parachute in. This frog has a name that sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, but it fits. The place they found it is nicknamed the Misty Mountains. This creature is small, brown, and doesn't look like much at first, but it lives right near the entrance of tarantula burrows, which is either extremely gutsy or extremely stupid. Either way, it's new to science. It's one of several new frog species they found in that area, which is carved up by ancient geological formations called tepus, basically flat-topped mountains that have been isolated for years. So it's not just the frog that's rare, it's even the land itself. Scientists think frogs like this one evolved to survive specifically in that misty, high-altitude jungle because they don't live anywhere else, which also means that if anything changes, like climate, humidity, even slight damage to the terrain, that could be it for them. There's no plan B for these guys. They've literally got one mountain, one tiny patch of mossy ground, and that's their whole world.
Number 5. Amazon rings. The Amazon rings are famous massive circular ditches, sometimes up to 16 feet deep and just as wide. So how could these geoglyphs have appeared within the forest? The reality seems to be that these were created before the forest itself even existed. It's hard to imagine a time before the Amazon forest grew, but studies suggest that these rings were created long before the forest was. It's thought to be more remnants of life in the Amazon before the Europeans arrived, with an estimated 6 to 10 million people living in the area. It's unsure just what exactly these rings were used for, and some people have gone as far as to suggest that aliens left the markings in the ground behind, a sort of Amazon crop circle. It's unfortunate that the discovery of these rings was a direct result of the clear-cutting and logging going on in the forest. Number 4. Lost cities. Even as recently as the 20th century, explorers have been venturing into the rainforest for supposed lost cities that have never been found. Some of those explorers even becoming lost, never to be seen again, like the tale of British explorer Percy Fawcett. As it turns out, scientists have discovered that these lost cities that so many went in search of likely did really exist, thanks to some high-tech helicopter remote sensing technology. It seems that there were massive cities that were abandoned only some 600 years ago, and it's believed that up to 2 million people lived in the rainforest at one point. The cities stretch for miles and include things like complex waterway systems and large conical pyramids. The true mystery is what happened to this civilization. How do entire cities disappear into the forest without a trace? As these cities were built with mud bricks and are almost completely destroyed, we may never know what really happened to them. Number 3. The Man of the Hole. One famous resident of the vast rainforest is someone you've probably never heard of before. He is known as the Man of the Hole, as no one knows his true name or who he really is. So why is he so famous? He's indigenous to the rainforest and is known to be the very last remaining member of his remote tribe. The rest of his people were killed by farmers and land grabbers who wanted to make use of the land that they'd been living on. As a result, he is the loneliest man in the world, no one knowing his language or how to communicate with him. And it seems as though he doesn't want anyone to anyways. He has attacked government officials who have tried to come close, living on his now protected territory, digging holes to hide in and capture animals, earning his name of the Man in the Hole. It's also thought that he may be making these holes to try and capture anyone who would dare get close to him. He has been caught on camera only a few times, showing us that he's still around. Number 2. El Tunche. If you ever, for some reason, find yourself walking through the rainforest and you hear a distant whistling sound, it would be wise of you not to seek it out, especially if you've been stomping on a few too many plants lately. That's because what you are hearing might be the call of El Tunche, a demon who wanders the forest, protecting the wildlife and condemning those who would harm it. If you haven't done any damage to the forest, then he'll probably just scare you off. But if you have, you might as well start running. By calling out, the demon is trying to entice you to whistle back and reveal your exact location to him. If you do so, El Tunche's call will grow louder and louder, following you wherever you go. Eventually, it invades your mind as you sleep, drawing you into madness. I think that's a good enough reason to start being a little bit kinder to our natural surroundings. Number 1. El Lobizon. A widespread legend across South America is that of El Lobizon. It is a werewolf-like creature that can be seen walking on all fours and also on its hind legs. Different from Western and Hollywood interpretations and depictions of werewolves, El Lobizon is not created through a bite, but instead born. Any 7th son that is born in an unbroken line of boys will become the creature, usually transforming around their 13th birthday. The stories have caused people to abandon, give up, or even kill their own 7th son. Every full moon, the boy will transform into the wolf-like creature, hunting down prey with unmatched speed and endurance. While just a legend, with a place as vast as the rainforest, who knows if El Lobizon isn't hiding in those darkest hidden corners.
Moving past our halfway point today, we have the giant centipede, which can grow up to 12 inches. Yay! This large and absolutely horrifying animal has a body that is composed of 21 to 23 distinct sections, with each section having its own pair of legs. Quick maths, that's 42 to 46 pokey little yellow legs. The animal generally feeds on insects, snails, and worms, and it does so by utilizing their quick speed to catch their prey and then biting down hard with its 2 front legs tipped with large spikes that work like pinchers. The spikes then administer a paralyzing venom to its prey, rendering it, well, screwed. I'm gonna ease your minds for a moment and let you know that these guys aren't really interested in attacking humans. Now that the moment's over, I will let you know what happens on the rare occasions these guys do decide to stray from their straight and narrow. The bite of a giant centipede can cause a person to experience headache, chest pain, heart tremors, nausea, and vomiting. Super cool! Moving right along, we've got the world's most powerful electric eel, bear with me, Electrophorus voltii. It's a small, relatively docile animal. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's actually a 2 meter, 6 foot 7 inch long monster that can weigh up to 20 kilograms, which is 44 pounds. And it has sharp teeth on both its upper and lower jaws that it uses to tear apart its prey of small fish and shellfish. Don't worry, I know I buried the lead, and I bet you're all dying to know just how electric this eel really is. Well, let me start off by saying the previously highest recorded voltage of an electric eel was 650 volts, which has caused fatal heart and respiratory failure in humans when shocked multiple times. This new guy's voltage is just a teeny bit higher, 210 volts higher to be exact. Simply put, this 860 volt electrical eel would cause a lot of damage. How much exactly? Well, we're not really sure yet, but I'll tell you this, I will not be the one to find out. If you guessed that next on the list we'd have another nightmarish creature capable of causing serious damage to those who come too close for comfort, give yourself a pat on the back because you're nailing it, as this next animal is exactly that. The Piranha, also known as the vampire fish, does not suck blood or insides of its prey, but it does have extremely large fangs that can grow to be up to 15 centimeters long. That's 5.9 inches. Almost half a foot of nightmare fuel. You might think there's some kind of saving grace here, but there's not. This animal is extremely fast and highly aggressive, considered to be one of the ultimate jungle predators. I guess we did have to even the playing field somehow though, as in recent years these feisty fish that measure in anywhere between 1.5 to 3 feet in length and weigh up to 20 pounds have become the catch of choice for fly fishers within the region. I hope you guys are doing all right, and I also hope you are not afraid of snakes, because if you are, this next one just might make your skin crawl. It's the green anaconda, aka the largest snake in the Amazon, reaching lengths of up to 30 feet, that's 9 meters, and diameters of up to 12 inches, 30.5 centimeters. And if you're still not impressed, these animals can weigh up to an astounding 550 pounds or 250 kilograms. These animals are members of the boa constrictor family, and although they have incredibly sharp teeth and powerful jaws, they are, thankfully, not venomous. But of course, they're incredibly strong, and they use their strength to crush their prey by curling up around it and restricting its airways, providing little chance for escape. The green anaconda is not at all a picky eater either, with an expansive diet of fish, reptiles, amphibians, tapirs, deers, dogs, capybaras, sheep, and whatever the heck else they can find, really. Luckily for us, attacks on humans are pretty rare, but not unheard of, and yeah, they can swim, like really well. So keep your eyes peeled for these masters of camouflage the next time you're taking a walk through the Amazon jungle. And finally, to finish us off today, we have the Amazonian bullet ant. Just a little guy with a lifespan of about 90 days, growing to be between just 0.07 to 1.2 inches long. Living in the humid lowlands of the Amazon rainforest, this demon creature has the most powerful sting in the world. Getting stung by this guy has been described as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with 3-inch nails embedded in your heels. Oh my god, the Amazon needs to chill. Besides up to 24 hours of an intense amount of pain, symptoms of being stung by the insect include fever, nausea, trembling, and cardiac arrhythmia. So while you won't die, you will for sure feel like you're in hell until the symptoms wear off. If you guys want to hear something really wild, listen up. There are certain Amazonian tribes that use these ants in coming-of-age ceremonies, requiring young men to wear gloves filled with them for a total of 10 minutes in order to achieve status within their community. And in order to be considered a village warrior, they must complete the ceremony a total of 20 times. Thank God we made it. I know I'm not in the Amazon, but I will definitely be checking my sheets tonight after all of that.
Here, Awara is a legendary creature the size of a cow, believed to stalk the Amazon rainforest. A territorial, aggressive creature said to attack people in boats. The creature is described as a mix between a tapir and a jaguar, but is it just a mythical monster or a new species waiting to be discovered? Witnesses say the creatures are about 9 feet long with red or red-gold fur and occasionally blackish gray fur with white patches or stripes. Its face is kinda cat-like, but without the spots you'd expect from a jaguar. Instead, it has large drooping ears, more like a cow, and legs that look like they belong to a donkey. Some sightings even describe it having a mix of paws and hooves. It's also semi-aquatic, often seen in the swamps and creeks of the Amazon, swimming or standing in the water. It's also said to be carnivorous with large razor-sharp teeth. There are tales of it capturing caimans and even rumors that it could eat humans. The creature is also described slapping its ears against the water, similar to how a beaver would use its tail. The Amazon jungle is vast enough that new species are being discovered there all the time. Most of them a lot smaller than a cow-sized predatory animal, but there's a lot of unexplored land, you never know. The Holier is a lake monster, which was said to be spotted by biologist and freshwater detective Jeremy Wade. Wade first saw this creature in the Brazilian Amazon basin in 1993. He was out on a small boat fishing when he spotted this serpentine creature poking out of the water, and it had ridges on its back. He told some locals about what he'd seen, and nobody really believed him, but a year later he returned to the spot and ended up speaking to a man who also claimed to have seen a similar creature just a couple weeks before. Wade went out on another trek to try and spot the creature, and he did. Getting a closer look though, he figured that it was maybe just an Amazon River dolphin, with the ridges on the back possibly coming from it being injured by propeller blades, or having been deliberately mutilated by a fisherman. But it's not 100% certain if this is the case, or if there was actually some unknown creature out there. The Mapinguari is said to be a massive hairy creature, almost like a gigantic ground sloth, that stalks the rainforest and has been described by native tribes for hundreds and hundreds of years. Many tribes in the rainforest, even those not in contact, tell tales of a massive creature, roughly 7 to 8 feet tall, emitting a powerful odor that can disorient hunters. Described as either roaring or fetid, this creature is known as the Mapinguari. Researchers have organized expeditions to try and find this rainforest giant, but no bones or scat samples have ever been discovered. Some scientists speculate that the Mapinguari legends might be rooted in ancient encounters with the last giant ground sloths in the Amazon, possibly dating back around 10,000 years, when these sloths are believed to have become extinct. If this extinction date is inaccurate though, the interactions with humans might have occurred more recently. Now, there are cryptid stories from all around the world, lake monsters, tons of variations of Bigfoot, and we've covered tons of them on the channel, but when it comes to cryptids in the Amazon, it's really not that far-fetched. Again, the Amazon forest is just massive and dense. A majority of it is just unexplored, and it could be filled with tons of animal species that are still unknown to the scientific world. But away from the cryptids for a bit, the black caiman is actually known to exist. The Amazon's biggest known predator, an enormous crocodilian that can grow over 16 feet long, weighing in at around 1,000 pounds. Yikes. They prowl rivers and lakes in search of fish, smaller reptiles, and even larger mammals given the opportunity. Female black caimans are dedicated moms. They build nests along the riverbanks and fiercely guard their eggs until they hatch. So if you do happen to be traveling along the Amazon River and you come across a baby caiman, just get out of there as fast as you can. As scary and dangerous as these animals are though, they're important for the ecosystem. They help keep aquatic life in balance, controlling the populations of their prey, which is why poaching of these crocs is such a major issue. They're an endangered species, and not only is that sad on its own, it's also affected the population of animals like piranhas and capybaras. There's just too many of them, and that's now negatively affecting agriculture and livestock. The Brazilian wandering spider is one of the most venomous spiders in the world. They're highly venomous. Their bites can cause excruciating pain and can even be fatal to humans. What makes these spiders really interesting is their hunting style. Unlike many spiders that just sit and wait for prey to come to them, the Brazilian wandering spider wanders around in search of prey. They're proactive about where they get their food. They're nocturnal hunters roaming around at night chasing down insects, amphibians, and even small mammals like mice. And if you're unlucky enough to be camping out in the jungle, you may have one of these things crawl into your tent. The females are very protective. They keep a close eye on their egg sacs and take care of their spiderlings once they hatch. Physically, these spiders are about as terrifying as they sound, big and hairy, and on top of that, they're known for being very fast and agile, often sprinting and pouncing on their prey. And the last thing I ever want to see a big hairy spider do is pounce. If you've ever flown over northern Bolivia, especially during the dry season, you might spot thousands of ancient earthworks. This area is known as the Llanos de Moxos, or the Beni Savannas. There are incredibly complex systems of raised fields, long causeways, canals, artificial mounds, and forest islands that were intentionally planted. This entire engineered landscape stretches out over a massive 50,000 square miles. Archaeologists have discovered that different cultures built these things over thousands of years, starting as far back as 800 CE, and were around right up until Europeans showed up. The ancient Amazonians were brilliant engineers, figuring out how to completely redesign their environment to handle both the extreme wet and dry seasons. Those raised fields were perfect for farming even when everything else was flooded. Canals helped with irrigation and transportation, and the artificial mounds were where they built their villages. It totally flips the script on the old idea that the Amazon was just this green desert that couldn't support big populations. At Serra de Capivara National Park in northeastern Brazil, there's an insane collection of rock art, with some sites holding thousands of individual paintings spread across hundreds of natural rock shelters. The pieces depict everything from hunting scenes and daily life to animals, rituals, and you also have your more abstract symbols. Some of these paintings have been around for a very long time. Some could be up to 25,000 years old, maybe even more. That makes them some of the oldest evidence of human presence in the Americas. These people have been living here for a very, very long time. It challenges the earlier theories about when and how humans first settled in the Americas, pushing back the timeline quite a bit. Now, like I said earlier, for ages people thought that the Amazon just couldn't support big settled groups before Europeans showed up. Like, sure, there were some small tribes, but no major cities. Well, new discoveries have shown that there were large areas of what some are calling garden cities. These super modified landscapes stretching across different regions. We're uncovering tons of proof that these ancient communities were master forest managers, practicing large-scale farming and living in settlements that were more spread out, not crammed together like European cities, but still connected by trails and clearings. Scientists are digging up more and more evidence of them intentionally planting trees, carefully managing what plants were useful, and not to mention that super soil that we chatted about earlier. All of this points to them supporting way bigger communities than anyone ever thought. So no, the Amazon wasn't this untapped wilderness, it was actually very well managed. Deep in Rondônia, Brazil, archaeologists have been finding proof ancient fortified settlements. I'm not talking about just a few simple ditches. These are big, some of what look like stone walls or foundations, which is a huge deal because stone is not a common building material in the Amazon. For example, at places like the Toatonho waterfall area on the Madeira River, they found signs of large settlements that were occupied for thousands of years, with some going back as far as 8,000 years. The size of these places and how long people lived there, plus the fact that they had defenses, it tells us that these communities were pretty established and would have needed to protect their resources and land. Alright, this last one is super fascinating because it's about a very distinct type of settlement discovered using satellite imagery. In the upper Tapajós region of the Brazilian Amazon, researchers have found evidence of ancient villages laid out in almost perfect circles. They've been deliberately designed this way, some dating back as far as 1300 CE. These villages, often called ring villages, show a really unique and organized social structure. You typically see a central plaza or a clearing surrounded by a ring of houses. Sometimes archaeologists have spotted outer rings of earthworks or ditches, which probably means they were for defense or just to mark off their space, and most of these places are being found using drones and satellite imagery. I mentioned piranha populations growing in the Amazon, so let's talk more about them. There's a reason these fish are notorious enough to have like 12 horror movies about them. They're known for their aggressive feeding habits. Piranhas can really go wild during what's called a feeding frenzy. They coordinate their bites though, taking turns on their prey until everyone in the school has had a share and their victim looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. Piranhas mostly eat other fish, but will also attack insects, crustaceans, and even small mammals. Piranhas they're kind of like zombies. Individually, not that scary, but a whole pack of them and you have a problem. And piranhas form schools that can number in the hundreds. It's safety in numbers, and it makes them more effective hunters. There's a lot of variety amongst piranha species as well, with some growing up to 16 inches, which is bigger than I thought. I also talked about the black caiman earlier, one of the deadliest predators in the Amazon. Do they have anyone to worry about? Well, yes they do. It's called the green anaconda, one of the largest snake species on the planet. There are longer snakes out there, but none are as heavy and thick as green anacondas. Females often reach up to 550 pounds, and they can grow over 29 feet long with a thickness of about 12 inches. These beasts rely on their incredible muscular strength to constrict and suffocate their prey before eating them whole. And their diet is pretty diverse, including animals like capybaras, deer, caimans again, and even jaguars. Another one of the most dangerous animals in the Amazon jungle. These snakes prefer shallower waters, which help them sneak up on their prey. Electric eels are some pretty shocking creatures. Another one of the most dangerous creatures in the Amazon. They can produce an output of 600 volts, about 5 times what it takes to incapacitate a human. They use this electric shock both for defense and to stun their prey, discharging all their electrolytes at once. It's a seriously impressive survival tactic, and it makes them incredibly terrifying. Plus, these things can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh around 40 pounds. They usually lurk at the bottom of the water where they hunt fish and small amphibians. Poison dart frogs are small, really beautiful looking frogs found in Central and South American rainforests. They have all these vibrant, striking colors, shades of bright blue, orange, yellow, black. But in nature, bright colors like this can sometimes hint at danger, and that's definitely the case here. Poison dart frogs are, unsurprisingly, very poisonous. They secrete poisonous toxins through their skin, making them one of the most poisonous creatures on Earth in general. There are lots of different species of this frog. One of the most poisonous is the golden poison frog, which is pure bright yellow. These frogs are very small, but they're very powerful in terms of toxicity. The toxins they produce are potent enough that just a single golden poison frog has the potential to take out as many as 20 men. That's nuts. The poison dart frog gets its name from the indigenous tribes of Central and South America who use the toxic secretions from these frogs to poison the tips of blow darts. By applying the frog's toxic slime to the dart tips, they turned their hunting tools into even deadlier weapons. Interestingly though, when in captivity away from their natural environment and diet, poison dart frogs actually lose their toxicity. They actually get their toxic powers from these foods that they're able to eat in the wild, like certain types of poisonous ants and mites. Finally, let's talk about all the legends of giant snakes slithering through the dense Amazon forest. Ones other than the green anaconda, even bigger. Massive sized anacondas do exist. Again, I guess every anaconda is technically massive, but there are legends about ones larger than any documented by science for thousands of years. One explorer who claimed to have come across one is Percy Harrison Fawcett, the guy who apparently found the lost city of Z. These giant snakes are often described as being over 40 feet in length and incredibly girthy. The longest known snake we have on record was a python measuring in at 32 feet. So while on an expedition in Bolivia, Fawcett claimed to have come face to face with one of these massive sized serpents, and not only that, he said he slayed the thing, which was approximately 62 feet long and at least 1 foot in diameter. Pretty outlandish, but I mean, what do you think? Was he just full of it? Or did they see a big snake and just misidentified its true length? Forget what you thought you knew about the ancient Amazon. For ages, people pictured these small wandering groups living there, but that wasn't really the case. In Ecuador's Upano Valley, for example, archaeologists have basically pulled back the curtain on a massive, interconnected network of ancient cities. They cover over 100 square miles with thousands of rectangular platforms that were likely homes and ceremonial spots. What's even wilder is how they found it though. Researchers used this super cool technology called LIDAR, which shoots laser pulses from an airplane right through the dense jungle canopy. It's like X-ray vision, but for the forest. And with it, researchers have found these grids of roads and paths with canals connecting them. Some roads stretch an amazing 16 miles. This tells us that people were seriously organized and had some impressive knowledge of engineering. They built a complex urban society, possibly home to tens, even hundreds of thousands of people, growing corn and sweet potatoes, probably brewing chicha. It completely flips our understanding of ancient Amazonian life. Imagine flying over the Amazon and spotting these enormous geometric shapes carved right into the ground. That's exactly what started happening in the 70s in Brazil's Acre State as parts of the forest were being cleared for farming. These incredible carvings are called geoglyphs, and they're massive patterns ancient Amazonian people created by digging deep trenches. You have perfect circles, squares, rectangles, some of them stretching over 980 feet wide and up to 13 feet deep. There are hundreds of these formations spread across more than 300 archaeological sites in Acre alone. Archaeologists think these geoglyphs date back as far as 1000 BCE. As for exactly what they were for, that's still a bit of a mystery. Some think they were gathering places for ceremonies. They may have also been used for defense though, a bit like trenches, but that's just an idea. What's nuts is that these ancient groups transformed the landscape on such a massive scale without any metal tools. They only used stone tools to dig these things. Right at the mouth of the Amazon River, there's a huge island called Marajo. For a long time, researchers knew about some intricate pottery found there, but then there was the discovery that ancient people on the island built these massive dirt mounds. The culture known as the Marajoara were living there from about 400 to 1600 CE. These were deliberately constructed mounds. Some were gigantic, reaching heights of 60 feet. That's like a 6-story building made of dirt. They built their villages right on top of these mounds, probably trying to stay safe, dry during floods. Inside and around these mounds, archaeologists have found detailed pottery, burial sites, and clear signs that there was farming going on. They were growing crops like maize and a starchy root vegetable called manioc. These all point to a highly organized society that mastered living in a very challenging environment for over 1,000 years. Alright, so this next one is super cool because it doesn't have to do with buildings, but about the very soil itself. Soil ancient people actually made. It's called terra preta, which simply means black soil in Portuguese, and you find it in patches all over the Amazon basin. What makes it so special is that it's incredibly rich, dark, sometimes several feet deep, and way more fertile than the natural reddish Amazonian soil. Scientists have figured out that ancient Amazonians created this soil on purpose. They mixed things like charcoal, broken pottery pieces, plant waste, and animal bones into the regular dirt. This created a super rich, self-sustaining soil that stayed fertile for centuries, sometimes even thousands of years. It's estimated that up to 10% of the non-flooded Amazon land might be this material. This was a major discovery because it proved these ancient groups weren't just living in the Amazon, that they were actively reshaping their environment. It's pretty cool. This one sort of blends ancient legends with modern day exploration. I'm talking about the ongoing search for potoo, and for centuries explorers and a good number of treasure hunters have been obsessed with finding this supposed massive Inca city hidden deep in the Amazon jungle, just east of the Andes Mountains. There are historical accounts from Spanish conquistadors who said they heard of this secret city where Inca nobles supposedly fled with their gold and treasures after the Spanish arrived. Now, we haven't found a single city of gold like in the movies yet, but recent archaeological work and satellite images are pointing to something out there. For example, in 2007, researchers found a bunch of ancient structures, things like ceremonial platforms and old homes in super remote parts of southeastern Peru, exactly where many believe potoo could be. And there are still places being discovered under the thick canopy of trees all the time. By archaeology standards, anyway. I don't mean like literally every day. Point is, the Amazon is so massive, who knows what else could be hiding out there. Maybe there's some truth to this legend.
Kicking off the list at number 10, mystery spider. Yeah, for this first one, we're not even sure what kind of spider it is. How calming is that? Let's do it. Some kind of spider is making what's referred to as silkhenge. Yeah, this piece of spider art was first discovered back in 2013 by Troy Alexander, who posted a photo of it on the internet, asking for help in identifying what exactly he's looking at, but no one could help identify it because it's a totally unknown phenomenon. These structures are created by spiders or some sort of spider to help with reproduction because they're protecting their eggs. It looks quite alien, but this is all just to protect little baby spiders in that middle tip. There's one main spire that's constructed of spider silk, and that's where the eggs are contained, and then surrounding that spire is sort of a circular fence that is also made of spider silk. Similar appearance to Stonehenge, hence the name Silkhenge. But to this day, we haven't found much. This was discovered back in 2013, and only a year ago, we got more information. Tropical science communicator Phil Torres recently visited Peru, and he got footage in 4K. It's beautiful. We no longer have to slide through the same 3 grainy photos. Check this out. Torres explains how this research has affected his well-being. Obviously, he said it's the thing that keeps him up at night because it's so annoyingly hard to find. Despite having seen it in so many places he goes, the next time it's like it was never there at all. Yeah, that's frustrating. It's also tiny too. In this recent clip, it's beautiful. Again, high definition. You can really see how intricate the work is, but Torres also discovered that these things are tiny and they come in clusters. So if you find one, there's probably a few nearby. Also, don't destroy it. We still have no idea who or what's making these silkhenges, so take some photos, hang out a bit, do some research. Number 9, the Brazilian wandering spider. Its bite can give you an erection that lasts for hours. That's a real fact, and that's how I'm going to start this point here. This animal is dangerous. Its bite, of course, will hurt you. You'll be sweating, blood pressure will increase, hence that side effect. They're more commonly known as banana spiders, so guess I can't eat bananas anymore. There goes my favorite snack. These little guys have been listed as the world's most venomous spider in a handful of years in the Guinness Book of World Records. We love records, record-breaking spiders. If its name didn't already tip you off, these things can be found in Brazil. There's 8 different kinds of wandering spiders. Avoid them all. That's my advice here on MA10. That's it. How does that sound? Boom. Science is quite interesting here. They're trying to create the next Viagra using the spider's venom. That's why I started with that wild side effect. There's always a point to it. I'm not just being silly all the time. The future is here, friends, and apparently it's filled with spiders. Just cuts to a bunch of old dudes in the woods just hanging out like, please. Number 8. Bullet ants. They're called bullet ants because their bite feels like a bullet wound. Promising start. Awesome. They're also referred to as the Paraponera clavata, but that sounds like a dark curse in Harry Potter, so we're going to call them the bullet ant for now. They're commonly found in tropical rainforests in Central and South America. Their sting is considered, the most powerful in the world, hence the bullet thing, and its effects can last 24 hours. Yeah, another fun nickname for them is a 24-hour ant. They're also the world's largest ant, so you can really see it coming. You should see it coming, worst case scenario. These guys get you in a colony though, game over. There's a good chance you won't even survive at all. One bite is bad enough, let alone a colony. Its venom's so powerful, it's being studied right now for its use as a pesticide. Yeah, we're sacrificing ants to further our research on how to sacrifice ants. This is dark. That sounds pretty dark when you say it like that. There's actually an indigenous Amazonian tribe in Brazil, and they use bullet ant stings as part of a ceremonial process to become a warrior. I would not pass. I wouldn't even make it to the island. I'm not good with bugs. They have to keep a straight face the entire time whilst getting bit. That's so impressive. Number 7, dart frog. You may be thinking, thank God, a frog, something cute, something unlike the bullet ant. Guess again. Not this time. Small but mighty, the poison dart frog is one of the deadliest animals on Earth. I left the word poison out of the title. I juked you out. I did it on purpose. Its shiny yellow skin will certainly attract the eye, but if you decide to try and, catch one of these slippery boys, its poison can kill 10 fully grown adults. All bad. Indigenous hunters figured this out and they coated the tips of their arrows or darts in this toxin. The toxin created naturally here is called batrachotoxin. Another creature we've mentioned on this channel before that also has the same toxin is the potoo bird. That's in Australia though, it's far away. Either way, a lot of poison moving around us in nature. It's actually pretty alarming. Birds and frogs, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm just gonna stay home and do this all day. Number 6, mosquitoes. These guys suck, no matter where you are, but when it comes to the Amazon, like everything else, it's much worse than you could ever imagine. Mosquitoes are one of the most dangerous because they can fly, and you don't see them coming. And once they get you, the damage has already been done. They're just full of blood. How gross is that? They're horrible. If you travel to parts of the Amazon rainforest and you don't have yellow fever vaccinations or extremely strong mosquito repellent, you're gonna have a bad time. These suckers are clouds of malaria just waiting for you to walk into by accident. And then you go, oh, and it's too late.
The electric catfish, one of the most bizarre creatures lurking in the Amazon River. This fish is capable of generating powerful electric shocks, up to 350 volts, which it uses to stun prey and defend itself from predators. Unlike electric eels, which generate their shock from a specialized organ, the electric catfish has a set of electrocytes, specialized cells that produce electricity running along its body. When it feels threatened or needs to catch food, the fish can release an electric charge strong enough to paralyze smaller fish, making them easier to swallow. These fish can be pretty big too, growing up to 3 feet long. They're also incredibly hard to spot because they have this muddy brownish appearance that blends in perfectly with the riverbed. They may not be as famous or dangerous as the electric eel, but getting shot can still cause pain and temporary paralysis. The Mapinguari is a mysterious creature said to lurk deep in the Amazon, and tribes have told tales of the creature for centuries, even ones that don't communicate with each other. It's described as a giant 7-foot-tall beast said to have a terrible fetid smell that can make hunters dizzy and disoriented. Some say it looks more like a giant ground sloth. Other depictions have it with like a big eye on the top and just a mouth on its stomach. Very strange. There have been multiple expeditions to find it, but no concrete evidence like bones or scat has ever been found. Some scientists think the creature could be based on stories passed down from a time when humans were actually interacting with giant ground sloths. These creatures are believed to have gone extinct around 10,000 years ago, but some think they might have lived much later. Over the last 25 years, a number of strange geoglyphs have been found in the Brazilian rainforest. These massive trenches, some up to 36 feet wide and 13 feet deep, are spread spread across about 5,000 square miles. They come in all sorts of shapes: circles, ovals, squares, octagons. The big question is, what were they used for? Well, these weren't homes or military fortifications, at least not from what we can tell. Archaeologists think they were used for ceremonies or rituals, but what's even more interesting is what these geoglyphs say about how ancient people used the land. A new study suggests that these early humans might have been way better at managing the forest than we are today. By digging into the soil around 2 geoglyph sites, researchers found that about 4,000 years ago, people were using controlled burns to clear land for farming. They also cleared certain trees and plants to make room for ones that were more useful to them. The big difference with today's deforestation, back then it was temporary and the forest was managed to keep valuable resources. As archaeologist Dr. Jennifer Watling puts it, deforestation in this area today is complete and long-lasting. A major drought in the Amazon in 2023 revealed some ancient petroglyphs carved into rocks along the Negro River, right where it meets the Amazon River. These carvings depict all sorts of things: human faces, animals, shapes like squares and circles that were created as long as 2,000 years ago. Indigenous archaeologist Carlos Augusto da Silva has been studying the petroglyphs, and he first spotted them during a drought back in 2005. But in October of 2023, the river's water level dropped so much that Silva found over 100 of these petroglyphs, the most he's ever seen. The exact age of the carvings is hard to pinpoint, since dating rock directly is tough. Ceramics found nearby, though, have been radiocarbon dated to around 2,000 years ago, so the petroglyphs might be from the same period, but there's no clear evidence linking the creators of the ceramics to the petroglyph makers. This is the longest period the petroglyphs have been visible in modern times, and archaeologists are concerned about potential damage with all the increased visitor interest. The Arapaima, also known as the Pirarucu, is a prehistoric titan of the Amazon River. I mean, just look at the size of it. It is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, reaching lengths of up to 10 feet and weighing as much as 440 pounds. This immense fish has been swimming in the Amazon for millions of years, even before the time of the dinosaurs. Its striking appearance with its shimmering armor-like scales make it look like something out of an ancient world. And what's especially remarkable about the Arapaima is its air-breathing ability. Unlike most fish, it has a specialized swim bladder that allows it to breathe air, making it capable of surviving in oxygen-depleted waters that would be deadly for most other fish. And the Arapaima's adaptation makes it almost indestructible to predators like piranhas, who are often no match for its size. But its ability to breathe air also makes it more vulnerable to humans. These fish must surface every 15 to 20 minutes to gulp up air, which makes it an easy target for fishermen. Due to overfishing and habitat destruction, these fish were pushed to the brink of extinction in the 90s. Thankfully, conservation efforts led by indigenous tribes in the region have helped restore their numbers. Today, the Arapaima remains a keystone species in the Amazon ecosystem, playing an important role in maintaining the balance of life in these waters. Few creatures are as synonymous with danger in the Amazon as the green anaconda. This massive snake can grow up to 29 feet in length and weigh over 550 pounds, making it the heaviest snake in the world. While anacondas are non-venomous, they are exceptional at constricting their prey. Using their immense size and strength, they can just squeeze the life out of animals like capybaras, caimans, and even jaguars. What makes the green anaconda so terrifying is that, but also its stealth. Often lurking beneath the water's surface, it can ambush unsuspecting prey with lightning speed. These snakes have earned a place in Amazonian folklore where they are seen as mystical guardians of the forest. And sightings of green anacondas attacking are rare. The fear they inspire is rooted in truth, though. Their sheer size and strength make them capable of overpowering just about anything that crosses their path. And because they live in the murky waters of the Amazon, many believe these creatures are far more dangerous than they've been given credit for. Now, at first glance, the electric eel may seem like an unassuming fish, but it is anything but ordinary. This knife fish can unleash a jolt of electricity as powerful as 860 volts, enough to stun or incapacitate its prey. Now, despite its name, the electric eel is not actually an eel. It belongs to a group of fish called knife fish. It thrives in the slow-moving, muddy waters of the Amazon and has 3 specialized organs that allow it to generate electricity. Electric eels use their powerful shock for multiple purposes, including hunting, self-defense, and navigation. When hunting, they can immobilize prey in an instant, making them formidable predators in the river. Early explorers were shocked, literally, by their electric bursts, with some accounts claiming that even horses wading through the river were incapacitated. Today, scientists are studying the electric eel's ability to generate electricity, hoping to unlock secrets that could be applied to bioelectric technology in the future. But for now, the electric eel remains one of the most shocking creatures in the Amazon. Most people associate bull sharks with saltwater, but these aggressive predators can thrive in freshwater environments as well, including the Amazon River. Bull sharks are known for their remarkable ability to survive in both saltwater and freshwater, which allows them to travel far inland. In fact, they've been documented as far as Peru, making them one of the few shark species capable of entering the Amazon. What makes bull sharks especially terrifying is their reputation for aggression. With a bite force of over 1,300 pounds, these sharks are capable of taking down some pretty large prey. Their presence in the Amazon adds a new layer of danger to an already treacherous environment. While sightings of bull sharks are pretty rare, their ability to adapt to freshwater habitats makes them an unpredictable and dangerous river monster.
Number 6, the boiling river. Ooh, this one's hot. It's real hot. It's pretty common knowledge that the Amazon is home to the longest river in the world, but there is another river found in the Amazon rainforest that is equally as astonishing, but for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, it's not good. As its name suggests, water temperatures in the boiling river reach up to 93 degrees Celsius. The steam coming off the surface of the water sure is inviting, but animals and humans know better by now. Yeah, no skinny dipping in this river, or any river for that matter. I don't know, there's still water snakes. There's still debate around the source of the heat for this river, but as of right now, it's believed to be entirely natural and geothermal. Now, despite the river not being near any active volcanoes or geothermal vents, it is quite an anomaly. It's odd, just a hot, inviting river for no reason. There are local legends, of course, that say the river is a place of power and that the mother of the waters is responsible for the creation of this incredible and strange, mystifying river. Yeah, I like the sounds of that way more than geothermal activity. That's cool. Oh, the mother of the waters? Yeah, she heated this one up. Come on in. Geothermal. I'm like, it's hot. You might burn your toes. Number 5, black caiman. If you aren't a fan of alligators, just go ahead and skip to number 4, I guess, because this one's terrifying, honestly. These super alligators live in calm, slow-moving rivers, of course, like the big bad anacondas, places you wouldn't expect a dinosaur to jump out at you. Essentially, that's where you're gonna find one. Just like dangerous river snakes, these black caiman will take it slow. They'll wait for their prey to have a little sip of water, and then, and only then, the largest predator in the Amazon will then race out and grab its lunch, and then quickly return to the water. It's so scary. I've seen this on Reddit. They're fast. They are quite fast. Birds, reptiles, mammals, you name it, this thing can eat it all, and it will eat it all with this big chomping mouth. Between 2008 and October 2013 alone, there were 43 black caiman attacks on people. Yeah, human beings. So stay away from the Amazon, stay away from the water. Don't do anything. Don't even go to zoos anymore. Just stop. Don't even exist. Number 4, silkhenge. We don't even know what spider this is. So yeah, mystery spider leaving mystery art. Here we go. He's the Banksy of spiders. Let's talk about him. There's some sort of spider that's making what is referred to as a silkhenge. Now it's tiny. It's on a little leaf. You will miss this. That's why it's so rare to find. This piece of spider art was first discovered in 2013 by Troy Alexander. Side note, what an amazing name. Like Troy Alexander, you're a Greek goddess, my friend. Troy Alexander posted a photo of it on the internet asking for help in identifying it. I mean, because obviously it's so alien, but nobody can help identify because it's a totally unknown phenomena. And these structures help with reproduction because they're actually protecting eggs. That's the whole purpose. There's one main spire that is constructed of spider silk, and then that's where all the eggs are contained. Then there's also a wall or a fence that's made of spider silk to protect all the eggs in the middle. Therefore, it looks like Stonehenge. That's where it gets its name from, obviously. Stonehenge, silkhenge, they look the same, both fascinating. One's really gross and made of webs, the other's made of rocks and lovely. Hopefully one day we can find out the real creator of these sculptures so we can give them the proper credit they deserve. But number 3, mosquitoes. These guys suck no matter where you are, but when it comes to the Amazon, oh, it's much worse than you could ever imagine, of course, as if anything else is not calming in there. Mosquitoes are one of the most dangerous because they can fly. You don't see them coming, and once they get you, too late, the damage has already been done. They have your blood, now they're gonna go sell it on the black web. If you travel to parts of the Amazon rainforest and you don't don't have yellow fever vaccinations or extremely strong mosquito repellent, then you are going to have an extremely bad time. Yeah, these guys are just clouds of malaria waiting for you to walk right into. And that's so disgusting. I can't even do it. Even cottages, I can't do it. I'm not a fan of mosquitoes. Number 2, bullet ants. Ugh, Ant-Man would not fight this ant. No way. They're called bullet ants because their bite feels like a bullet wound, so that is a promising start, my friends. It's also referred to as a Paraponera clavata. The bullet ant is commonly found in tropical rainforests in Central and South America. Their sting is considered the most powerful in the world, hence the, bullet alias, and its effects can last 24 hours. That's a long time to be in a horrible amount of pain. These guys get you in a colony though, game over. There's a good chance that you won't survive that. One was bad enough, let alone a colony? Oh, that's terrible. Its venom is so powerful that currently these ants are being studied for its use as a pesticide. So we're sacrificing ants in order to further their research on how to sacrifice ants. Number 1, Brazilian wandering spider. Alrighty, this spider can actually help you guys out. Let's do it. Its bite can give you an erection that lasts for hours. That's a real fact. This animal is also obviously dangerous. Its bite will also hurt, besides, that amazing side effect. You'll be sweating, blood pressure will increase, hence, that side effect. And they're more commonly known as banana spiders. It can be found, of course, in Brazil, and there's 8 different kinds of wandering spiders. So my advice, avoid them all. The science is quite interesting here though. They're trying to create the next Viagra by using the spider's venom.
A newly discovered species of catfish called Trichomyceteris anticus was recently found in a small river in the Amazon. This catfish is pretty small, measuring less than 3 inches. Its eyes are tiny and it has pointed, oddly arranged teeth. It doesn't look that different from other catfish except for a dark gray stripe running along its body and a few small spots near its back fin. What's truly weird is what researchers found when they looked at the catfish's DNA. A lot of species in the Amazon split off from each other around 5 to 2 million years ago during the Pliocene era, but this little guy took a different route. It branched off way earlier during the Miocene, which was about 23 to 5 million years ago. This ancient split earned it the name Anticus, which means old in Latin. This catfish is incredibly rare. Over several trips to the area by the team, only 4 of these fish were ever found. Scientists came across a bizarre silk structure that's been dubbed Silkhenge because it kind of looks like a tiny web version of Stonehenge. Found in 2013 in Tambopata, Peru, the structure is made up of a ring of tiny pillars surrounding a central cone. At first, no one knew what made it or why it looked so strange. Then, a few months later, scientists returned and discovered something amazing. Baby spiders emerging from the webs. In December of 2016, researchers filmed the first ever video of the spiders hatching. In the footage, you can see 2 translucent golden orangey looking spiderlings pushing their way out of the silk cone. Biologist Phil Torres, one of the researchers, could barely contain his excitement as the hatchlings made their first steps. The spiders appear to belong to a new species, but much about them is still a mystery. Aaron Pomerantz, a researcher at UC Berkeley, explained that identifying species usually involves looking at adult spiders, but since none have been found yet, the creature behind the Silkhenge is still mostly unknown. Next up, we have a newly discovered parasitic wasp, nicknamed the vampire wasp, which looks just about as terrifying as it sounds. They were found at the perfect time too, October of 2023, and I had to believe the Halloween season somehow influenced the naming of these things. That and the fact that these have to be the creepiest looking wasps in existence. Scientists discovered the new breed of wasps in the Peruvian Amazon. Brandon Claridge, a doctoral candidate in biology at Utah State University, along with his team, set up large tent-like traps to capture insects. Of course, a variety of insects were caught, but one stood out. The Capitojopa amazonica, aka the vampire wasp. These wasps not only sting their prey, but they also suck their blood, hence the vampire nickname. But to make things even more horrifying, they also lay larvae under the victim's skin. Luckily, these wasps don't have much interest in humans, at least not that we know of yet. Crazy thing about this little expedition is that the team apparently caught 108 other new species using these traps. It's just crazy how many animals are still not known to science. The Mashco Piro tribe, one of the most isolated and reclusive indigenous groups in the world, was recently spotted in the Amazon rainforest of Peru. These tribe members were seen near the Las Piedras River. Mashco Piro are believed to be the largest indigenous community still living without any outside contact. Over 50 tribe members were seen, and the images were confirmed by the indigenous rights group Survival International. Alfredo Vargas Pio, president of a local indigenous organization, told Survival International that these sightings are irrefutable evidence that the Mashco Piro live in this area. But there's concern over the tribe's safety. Logging companies have been granted access to the land, and Vargas warned that contact with outsiders, especially logging workers, could introduce dangerous diseases that might wipe out the tribe. He also called for the Peru government to recognize and legally protect the Mashco Piro's territory. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, archaeologists discovered one of the largest collections of prehistoric rock art ever found. Stretching across nearly 8 miles of cliffs in Colombia, these paintings date back as far as 12,500 years and include thousands of images of animals and humans. The discovery includes images of extinct Ice Age creatures like the mastodon and giant sloths, as well as horses and camels, meaning the people who created these paintings were some of the first humans to enter the Amazon. Jose Ariart, an archaeologist leading the research, was in awe of the level of detail in this work. He described the horse images as so detailed that you could even see horse hair, and noted that the paintings were so natural that they left little doubt about what was being depicted. Some of the paintings are huge, a lot of them are so high up on cliffs that archaeologists actually had to use drones to get a clearer view. They even found evidence of wooden towers in some of the artwork, which might explain how the artists reached so high up. The team of British and Colombian researchers spent hours trekking through the dangerous territory where they had to navigate past deadly snakes and caimans. A kangaroo, often referred to as the vampire fish, is one of the most feared and misunderstood creatures in the Amazon. This small parasitic catfish is infamous for its ability to enter human orifices. Though many of these stories have been exaggerated over time, in reality, these fish primarily prey on fish by attaching itself to their gills and feeding on their BLOOD. But its reputation for seeking out human orifices has made it a subject to some pretty gruesome stories. At less than an inch long, the vampire fish is hardly intimidating in terms of size, but its backward-facing spines make it a pretty effective parasite, allowing it to latch onto its prey with terrifying precision. Scientists are still fascinated by how this fish is able to locate its prey in the murky waters of the Amazon, relying on its ability to sense the chemicals released by fish. While the stories about them attacking humans are largely myths, the fish's real behavior is enough to earn its place on this list of river monsters. At first glance, the pacu fish might appear harmless, but its human-like teeth and its powerful bite make it one of the more unsettling creatures in the Amazon. Related to the piranha, the pacu is a primarily herbivorous fish that feeds on nuts, fruits, and seeds. Its teeth, which resemble those of humans though, are designed for crushing, not tearing flesh. But despite its plant-based diet, the pacu has occasionally bitten swimmers, leading to chilling legends of its aggressiveness. And now, although rare pacu attacks on humans have happened, fueling stories of the fish's aggression. Its human-like teeth are also just creepy looking, and it makes it seem like a fish caught between two worlds. Part herbivore, part predator, and all creepy. For many, the pacu remains one of the Amazon's most curious and unnerving creatures. The giant otter is a formidable predator in the Amazon River, earning its nickname river wolf. These 6-foot-long otters are social creatures, hunting in packs to take down prey much larger than themselves. They're known to hunt caimans, anacondas, and other large animals with their sharp teeth and coordinated attacks. Giant otters are highly territorial, and while they often display playful behavior, they can also be incredibly aggressive when protecting their territory. Despite their reputation for being cute and playful, which they are, giant otters are far from harmless. Their pack mentality and efficiency as hunters makes them one of the most formidable creatures in the Amazon. When they feel threatened, they can turn violent, using their powerful jaws and sharp teeth to defend themselves and their family. The giant freshwater stingray is one of the largest and most dangerous creatures in the Amazon. It can grow up to 16 feet in length and weigh over 1,300 pounds. These enormous rays are equipped with a venomous spine capable of delivering excruciating pain, making them a threat to anyone who gets too close. The giant stingray is a bottom dweller, often hiding in the sandy riverbeds of the Amazon, which makes encounters rare, but memorable in not a good way. Now, their size and venomous sting are enough to make them terrifying, but it's their elusive nature that makes them even more mysterious. The giant freshwater stingray's ability to blend into the riverbed makes it nearly invisible to the untrained eye, but when they strike, they deliver a painful blow that can cause serious injury or even death. The red-bellied piranha is perhaps the most infamous of all Amazonian fish. With their razor-sharp teeth and their insatiable appetite, these fish are known for their feeding frenzies, where they strip the flesh off a carcass in a matter of minutes. While piranhas are more scavengers than hunters, their aggressive reputation is not entirely unwarranted. Their feeding frenzies, though often exaggerated in movies like Piranha and Piranha 3D, and there's tons of piranha movies, too many piranha movies. When conditions are right, piranhas can become an unstoppable force of nature. Piranhas are not as dangerous to humans as their reputation suggests, but they can pose a threat if provoked or in times of desperation. In the Amazon, where food is sometimes scarce, a group of piranhas can become a terrifying sight for anyone who ventures into the water. The potoo, or Amazon river dolphin, is one of the most mysterious and fascinating creatures in the Amazon. Not only is it famous for its pink color, it's also surrounded by myths and legends. Indigenous stories describe these things as shape-shifting entities that come ashore to seduce humans, further adding to its mysterious allure. And while these myths are interesting, the potoo's biology is just as captivating. The Amazon river dolphin has a unique set of adaptations that allow it to thrive in the murky waters of the river. Its flexible neck and bulbous forehead, used for echolocation, make it perfectly suited for navigating in dark, silty waters. The river dolphin is highly intelligent and social, living in small groups. While it's not dangerous to humans, its mythical status and unusual features make it one of the most fascinating creatures in the Amazon. These river monsters prove the Amazon River is a place where the line between myth and reality can be blurred sometimes. Each creature plays a role in the delicate ecosystem of the river, and each adds to the Amazon's reputation as one of the most mysterious and dangerous places on Earth. From the massive arapaima to the elusive potoo, the creatures of the Amazon continue to captivate researchers and adventurers alike.
10. Decoy spider. These decoy building spiders are exceptionally small, but they're exceptionally smart. Smart spiders? That's terrifying already. These spiders only measure to be about 5 millimeters in length, but you might see a much larger spider hanging out in a web that they've created. Now, this might sound alarming at first, but this larger spider is actually fake. Yeah, it's actually a decoy spider that the small spider built out of various materials, such as food, scraps, debris, and even their old skin. These spiders were only discovered pretty recently in the Amazon, so not too much is known about them, as there still needs to be tons of research done. All we know is that they like to make things that look like a large spider, and that's terrifying enough. Maybe it's for defense purposes, or maybe it's like the ancient Romans, you know? Maybe they're just statues honoring a spider god. That's terrifying. I take that back. Number 9, red-bellied piranha. I don't have to explain to you why a piranha is a bad idea to get near. I mean, we've all seen Piranha 3DD, right? That's a timeless classic. Well, the red-bellied piranha is one of the most dangerous piranhas in the piranha game. Its behavior is way more aggressive than that of an average piranha. It's almost like an acre of the rainforest disappearing every second is making it more aggressive. Yeah, I'd be aggressive too in those waters, no doubt about it. Number 8, the electric eel. I say, ooh, girl, don't touch this. First of all, never rub an electric eel like that. Never rub one like they're a genie lamp. You'll want more than 3 wishes at that point. That's horrible. That was the moray eel. That one, bite your fingers off easily, but you should never touch an eel in the first place because a lot of them are electric. As its name suggests, these type of eels can mess you up even if you were to get the first hit. Specifically, the newly discovered 2.5 meter Electrophorus volti, appropriately named after Alessandro Volta, aka the guy who invented the battery. It can release a shock up to 860 volts, more than 7 times the voltage of a wall plug. Number 7, the green anaconda. Of course, we have to mention the anaconda. It's so scary, the biggest snake ever. That's horrible. This movie came out 25 years ago. I remember watching it with my family. It made me extremely afraid of snakes and water. Although the green anaconda is a non-venomous snake, the boa constrictor is still one of the most feared. Obviously, look at its size. Green anacondas live in calm marshes or slow streams. They wait until their large prey gets thirsty, and once they come to the water, the anaconda suffocates its lunch. It wraps itself around it like 17 times. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. And then it just slowly eats it. It's so scary. It's so dinosaur, really. Anacondas hunt prey that's larger than us humans, so if they wanted to, they could for sure just swallow us whole. There's only no evidence of it happening because humans rarely interact with them. So yeah, let's keep that ratio at the 0 point. That would be great. Don't be the first guy to get eaten by an anaconda, please. Number 5, decoy spider. Oh, these are all horrible. These decoy building spiders are exceptionally small, but super smart. These spiders only measure to be about 5 millimeters in length, but you might see a much larger spider hanging out in a web that they've created. See, this might sound scary, but this large spider is actually a fake spider. It's a decoy. It's a decoy spider that the small spider built out of various materials like food scraps, debris, even their old skin to make a bigger, scarier spider. That's horrible. I wish I didn't know this. Look, art is subjective, okay, that's for sure. I don't think this is the most lovely piece of animal art on the planet, but it works. It gets the job done. A rather impressive defense mechanism for such a tiny little dude. These spiders were only discovered pretty recently, so again, not much is known about them, as there still needs to be tons of research done, just like the other horrible spider on this list. It is, however, believed that this is a feature that has evolved in this particular spider, so it's possible we've only recently discovered it because it's a new feature. Yeah, how neat is that? Hey, spiders are learning new tricks. Hit that thumbs up. I'm so scared. Cheers. Number 4, the electric eel. First of all, never rub an electric eel like they're a genie lamp. You're gonna want 3 more wishes if you do that, my friend. That was the moray eel. That one can bite your fingers off, which is horrible. But you should never touch an eel in the first place because a lot of them are electric. As its name hints towards, these type of eels can mess you up even if you weren't to get the first hit. Specifically, the newly discovered 2.5 meter Electrophorus volti. Yeah, the Electrophorus volti. No, that's not a new hybrid car coming out on the market. This is a dangerous beast. It was appropriately named after Alessandro Volta, aka the guy who invented the battery, and it can release a shock up to 860 volts, more than 7 times the voltage of your average wall plug. It was recently discovered only a year ago that electric eels in Amazon rivers like to travel in packs. They like to travel with their friends, and they all head to the bar together. How fun is that? Packs of electric water snakes. Does it get worse than that? It can't get worse than that, can it? Number 3, black caiman. It can get worse than that. It can get a lot worse than that. If you're not a fan of alligators, you might want to skip to the next one. Black caiman is the largest family member in the Alligator Day crew. These super alligators live in calm, slow moving rivers, places you wouldn't expect, you know, a dinosaur to be and jump out at you, essentially. Just like dangerous river snakes, one I might talk about later, these black caiman will take it slow and just wait for their prey to have a sip of water. And then at that point, the largest predator in the Amazon will grab its lunch and quickly return to the water, just like that. Be very loud and very fast. This thing eats birds, it eats reptiles, mammals even. Yeah. This thing can and will eat everything. Between 2008 and 2013 alone, there were 43 black caiman attacks on people. Yeah, a handful of these attacks were fatal. I'll leave it at that. Number 2, pink dolphins. We'll do a nice one before we do the horrible big bad number 1. Deal? Deal. Pink dolphins of the Amazon River. They're the largest of all river dolphins, and adults, more often than not, males end up turning pink as they age, and we have no idea why. Scientists aren't exactly sure why these guys are pink or why the color comes later in life, seeing as, you know, they're born gray. Our leading theory here is that the color is brought on by scar tissue that results from fighting with other dolphins or predators. I'm sure it's not an easy go, you know, swimming through schools of electric eels and all that jazz, so yeah, fair, it could be a pretty rough environment. Some old legends hilariously mention that pink dolphins maybe can turn into a handsome man in the evenings, and then during this time they would hypnotize and seduce young women before turning back into dolphins again near sunrise. Yeah, forget Morbius. I want to see that movie. That's a supervillain origin story I would pay to see. The pink dolphin handsome man. He has one day to find love, and then he turns back into a dolphin. Number 1, green anacondas. Of course, we have to talk about the anaconda, specifically the green anaconda. It's green like the Hulk, because it's always angry and scary and violent. This movie came out 25 years ago. I remember watching Anaconda with my family, and it made me extremely afraid of snakes, actually. This was probably the one that did it. So how accurate was that film? Although the green anaconda is a non-venomous snake, the boa constrictor is still one of the most dangerous ever. It's the most feared, definitely the most feared. Green anacondas live in calm marshes or slow streams, and again, they wait until their large prey gets thirsty, and once they come to the water, the anaconda suffocates and wraps around its lunch. Yeah. Anacondas hunt prey that's larger than us humans, so if they wanted to, they could for sure eat us. There's only no evidence of it happening because humans rarely interact with them in general, so anacondas probably don't know they could eat us. Green anacondas can reach lengths of up to 30 feet, so plenty of space for you and yours. Awesome. You and yours. He ended on a crack, on a voice crack. That's great. That's how scared I am of this anaconda.